Hi everyone, it's Mrs. Gilmore again, and I'm going to be reading you a few more chapters from Front Desk. The police came over 2 days after the robbery to get my mom's statement about her attackers. She was worried about having to testify in court because of her broken English, but the police officers assured her that she didn't need to testify if she didn't want to. Her attackers were ex-convicts who had skipped out on their parole. They were going to stay in jail, this time with no parole. My mother was relieved. Word got out about my mother's attack, and the security guard from the Topaz Inn once again came bopping over. Hank and I were both at the front desk this time. I narrowed my eyes. What do you want? I heard about the attack, he said. Terrible, just terrible. Too bad you guys didn't have a security guard like me. I would have pounded his head in. And you would have gotten arrested, Hank pointed out. The security guard gave me a half shrug. In my line of work, an arrest is a badge of courage, he said. He jammed his hands into his pockets and pulled out a business card. Here's my number in case you guys ever need to hire a security guard, he said, sliding his card across the desk. I picked it up and was about to throw it away when Hank said, "Let me see that." He took the card with him back to his room. The next morning, Hank came to the front office with 4 letters. He handed them to me. "Mail these for me, will you?" he asked. "Sure thing," I said, taking the letters from him. The letters were addressed to various malls in our area. Anaheim Plaza, where my mom and I like to go, the Garden Walk, the festival over in Anaheim Heights, which was supposed to be really nice, and Canyon Plaza. One of the envelopes was not sealed tight, and as I flipped it over, the letter fell out. The word security guard caught my eye. I started reading. Dear Anaheim Plaza, my name is Hank Caleb, and I would like to apply for a job as a security guard in your mall. I am hardworking and honest. I am also responsible and take my job very seriously. My last job was working at a gas station. I had to do many things like tend the cash register, keep an eye on the customers. A lot of people tried to steal from gas stations. Wash windshields and check fluid levels and air pressure. During my entire time working at the gas station, I was never late once. I take great pride in my work, and I would like the opportunity to be a security guard because I like helping people and keeping them safe. If you hire me, I will not let you down. I would be honored to come in for an interview. Sincerely, Hank Caleb. I thought it was a wonderful letter, as I read it, I wanted to run out the back, find Hank, and give him a hug. I hope they gave him an interview and didn't just write back asking for a reference letter. I started thinking more about this pesky reference letter. If there was only a way I could help him get one. That's when it dawned on me. I got out a piece of paper and started writing. Dear boss, employer, I would like to recommend Hank Caleb to you as a security guard. Hank Caleb has been a security guard at the Cal Vista Motel from June until now. And he is the best, most responsible, good, capable, and brave, courageous security guard we have ever had. Recently at the Cal Vista, we had an awful, unfortunate incident in which some crazy, dangerous people tried to steal money from the cash register. One of our managers tried to stop them and was beaten up and had to go to the hospital. Hank, right away, immediately ran after the crazy people, attackers. He chased them 4 blocks. He managed to catch them, and he got into a fight with them. Unfortunately, some cops saw Hank getting into a fight with them, and he ended up in jail, arrested. But the point is, Hank went out of his way to protect his managers, when most security guards would have chickened out, stayed back. You will not find a better security guard than Hank. Please find the receipt of the hospital bill stapled as proof evidence. If you have any questions, please call the Cal Vista at 555-281-0482. Sincerely, the managers of Cal Vista Motel. It took me 2.5 hours and 5 drafts to write the reference letter. I didn't want the letter to sound like it came from a kid, so I borrowed Mrs. T's dictionary thesaurus again and tried to make it as good as Hank's. I substituted simple words for fancier words and then checked all the tenses and grammar. Finally, after proofreading it 10 times, I copied the letter onto 4 clean white sheets of paper. I also rewrote Hank's letters in a different handwriting and changed all the stuff he wrote about working in a gas station to working at the Cal Vista. As I was forging Hank's signature, I felt a teeny bit bad. Was what I was doing wrong? What if I got caught? Would Hank be mad at me? Part of me wanted to go over and tell Hank what I was doing, ask him if it was okay. But the other part of me worried he would say no, especially given his strict views on reference letters. As I fretted over what to do, I glanced over at my math textbook and thought of my mom. She told me once, when she was a little girl, she would eavesdrop on her brother's math lessons with his tutor. Her family only had enough money for one math tutor to come by the house, and her parents didn't think it was useful to educate a girl. But my mother, because she loved math so much, refused to give up. She would listen in on her brother's lesson every week. If the tutor assigned homework, she would secretly do the homework. Here's the funny part. She would then sneak over to my brother's desk at night and change all my brother's answers to match her own, so that when the tutor came, he'd have to go over with him what she did wrong. In time, my mother got really good at math. That's probably why she constantly is hounding me to do more math. But that was the point. The point was, sometimes you have to take matters into your own hands, and you have to be creative to get what you want. I stuffed the letters into new envelopes. As I licked them shut, I whispered under my breath, "Please let this work." Chapter 45. As the autumn leaves turned and Hank waited to hear back from the malls, we got a surprise visitor, a kid. You'd think that since we were so close to Disneyland, we'd get a lot of kids, but we didn't. People with children preferred to stay at the actual Disneyland Hotel or nicer hotels over in Anaheim Hills. We did get the occasional teenager traveling with his parent, grumbling about not getting his own room. We also got the occasional toddler pitter-pattering around the parking lot, happily sucking on her thumb. But sadly, not many kids my age. So it was pretty cool when I looked up one day and saw a girl standing in front of the front desk with her mom. She had a mane of bright red hair and freckles across her nose. "Hi, I'm Mia," I said eagerly. Unfortunately, the girl did not return my enthusiasm. She chewed her gum loudly and looked at me like I was a bonus question on a math test. I handed her mom a registration form. "So are you guys on vacation?" I asked while her mom filled out the form. No response. "We're only 2 miles from Disneyland," I said. "Just keep going on the coast and you'll hit the freeway." "We know where Disneyland is," the girl snapped. She turned to her mom. "Are we done yet?" she asked. She stuck her hands into her pockets of her skinny jeans. She was wearing Calvin Klein jeans, the kind I would kill for. Her mother tossed me back the form. As the two of them took their key and turned toward the door, I called after them. "If you need anything—" "We won't," the girl shouted, slamming the door behind her. Talk about rude. I called Lupe up on the phone later to complain. "You won't believe this girl," I said. "So rude." "Did she fall off the mean tree and hit every branch on the way down?" Lupe asked. I giggled. "You and your trees." I pictured Lupe sitting in her room, her walls lined with drawings of trees. "You know, I still never been to your house," I pointed out to her. It's not much to look at," she said. That wasn't the point. "Are you going to have me over?" "Yeah." "When?" "Soon." I woke up the next morning to the most unexpected surprise. My mother ran into the room holding a pair of jeans. "Guess what?" The girl and her mom left, and they left behind these, my mom squealed. She tossed me the jeans. "They might just fit you. What do you say? You want to try these on after we wash them?" I jumped out of bed, and the two of us raced to the laundry room. My mother threw the jeans in for a spin. I sat with my nose pressed up against the washer. This was it. No more ugly floral pants. No more standing out like a sore thumb. I was getting my first pair of American jeans. They were warm when they came out of the dryer. I held the jeans up to my face, closed my eyes, and smelled. They smelled like hope. The new jeans fit me like a glove, 100% normal, hugging my legs. I put on a nice shirt and practically skipped to school. Jason arched an eyebrow when I walked past. So did the popular girls in my class. I tried to play it cool, of course. I tried to walk normally, one foot in front of the other, but inside me, fireworks were going off. Chapter 46. I wore my new jeans to school every single day, and every evening I put them in the washer and waited around in my pajamas while they dried. I didn't dare let them out of my sight. I was waiting around for my jeans to dry one night when Hank ran into the laundry room. It was the day before Thanksgiving, and he had the biggest smile on his face I'd ever seen. "You're looking at the new security guard down at the mall," he said proudly. "Oh my God!" I shrieked. "It worked! The letter worked," he said. Confetti cannons went off inside me. "You know what else worked?" "Your letter," he added. I immediately tensed up. Was he mad? Hank chuckled and patted me on the back. It was bold, I'll tell you that much, he said, but hey, they bought it. Phew. How'd you find out? It was the first thing they asked me about. Tell us about working as a security guard at the Cala Vista, he said. And what did you say? I asked him. I said I'd never worked with nicer people, he said, and I meant it. I smiled. Can you believe you did that? Hank said, shaking his head. What possessed you? I took his hand and led him over to the front office where I grabbed Loopy's card, the one that said, you can't win if you don't play. I handed it to him. Hank looked down at the card and pulled me in for a bear hug. That Thanksgiving, we invited all the weeklies into the manager's quarters to celebrate. It was our first real Thanksgiving, even though my mom didn't know how to make turkey. She knew how to make turkey sandwiches and buy a pre-made apple pie from Ralph's. Hank brought cherry tomatoes from his tomato plant too. As the sweet and tangy smells of apple pie and cherry tomatoes and buttery toast filled the manager's quarters, we all went around the table and said what we were thankful for. I'm thankful your mom's okay, my dad said, his eyes smiling at my mom. Hear, hear, everyone agreed. I'm thankful for my new job, Hank said, and he raised his cream soda to me and said, Thank you, Mia. I smiled. What about you, Mia? Mrs. Q asked. What are you thankful for? I looked at everyone, at all the love in the room. I'm thankful for you guys, I said.